Hey everybody, welcome to another Fun in 5. I'm bringing you Scythe by Stonemaier Games. This is a game that came out a long time ago. I've had it for about 2 years now, and I've loved it every time I've played it. Now let me tell you why. A lot to talk about in this game. First part is the theme, actually. I'll put this cover kind of spread on the screen here, but the cover of the box itself really screams what the theme of this game is. And in a subtle way, if you look at this game at first glance, you might think it's about the mechs and it's about war and attacking and combat. But in reality, it's about exploring and developing and kind of farming and extracting things. So I love how the theme of the game, as immense as these mechs may seem, it's really about how you kind of build upon this world and make everything work together between the combat and the characters and the development board and the farming and the agriculture. There's so much going on in this game. It all works together so very, very well, and it'll tie into some of the other things that I love. But the theme of this game really does shine in that cover image, and you see those images in the exploration cards as well. I'll throw a couple of these on the screen, but these exploration cards give you kind of mini scenarios, very, very small text. When I say small, I mean not lengthy text, but it gives you a feel for what's going on in the world just through little chance encounters, and you get to decide if you want to be the nice guy or the bad guy, if you want to take people's things or give people things to get more favor. So those are really neat and how that theme works together. And it works together in some other ways too, but the main parts are the visualization, the resources, and the exploration cards all really make it stand out. So that's fun number one. The second thing I like is the development boards. And I'll put these up on the screen here. There are some character boards, but more importantly, these development boards. And they're semi-asymmetrical just because they have a couple of different quirks, but overall they're very, very similar in that you get to, over time, move cubes from the top of your tracks to the bottom. And what it does is it makes things cost less and become more productive. And so it's a huge engine building aspect of the game, these development boards, and they will impact everything else that goes on, from how you can achieve victories to how quickly you can put together different things that are going on, building mechs, placing characters, being better at combat, all these different things. These development boards are so critical, and I absolutely love them. All right, next thing I like is the mechs. Now, it might seem odd that I like the mechs considering combat is not a huge part of the game, but it is a part of the game, and the mechs are more than just combat, and that's what I love about them the most. So if you are using a mech, for example, you can pick up your farmers or your workers and travel across the board a lot further than they might be able to go on their own, because often the mechs can move further if you develop your board the right way. They can sometimes cross water that these guys can't cross as easily. So I love that the mechs can transport these as well as your goods. Like, you're going to have resources in the game, oil, food, steel. And so having these mechs to be able to transport some of those things is really important. But then you can also use them for combat. And so they're multi-purpose in that they're not just giant war machines. They also help you explore and understand what's going on in this Scythe-esque world. And that becomes more important the more players there are, the more you need to be able to navigate the board and find the resources that you need. The fourth thing I like is the combat system. Now, the combat system works on a almost semi-transparent system. Okay, how do I explain that? Well, each player will have a combat track, and you can be anywhere on that score track, and you get to announce how much of that you're going to use. But in addition to that, you get to put a card secretly in the track here. So people can see how much combat you have, but they don't know how much your combat cards are worth. And again, secretly, you're going to say how much of your combat track you're going to use, while at the same time picking one card to go in your dial. And then simultaneously, both players would reveal what they decided on. So one player may decide to use 2 points off the track and a 2-point card to be worth 4. Another player may choose to use 5 points off the track and a 5-point card. So they're absolutely going to obliterate this player, but then they've used a lot more of their combat that may have helped them get a victory condition. So it's kind of kind of neat. I like how you can use a combination of cards and points to get that happening, and it's not a lucky roll of the die, and it's not long and drawn out. It's a very single one combat, and that determines who's going to be victorious. And so I like that system. It's strategic and yet simple at the same time, and I really love how that came together. And then the fifth thing is about the victory conditions of the game. So this is a point salad-esque game where you will earn points throughout this track in different ways. And the points, not necessarily points at first, because what you're trying to do is get your stars onto this board. But getting your stars on the board themselves don't win you the game. It also depends how much favor that you have. It depends how much area you control. It depends how many resources you have at the end of the game, but it all really hinges on your heart, how much the people actually like you, because if they don't like you, everything you have is worth less. And I think that's a fantastic aspect of the game, is you could be the player that people don't like and have gotten so much area control and so much other things that help you win points that you might still win the game. But then you might be the player that has less of the board, but everything they have is worth more because they've got that favor. So it's really, really neat. And the game ends as soon as somebody places their 6th star on this multi-purpose kind of accomplishment track. But even a player with only 4 stars could technically still win the game. So it's really neat how you balance that stuff out. And I just have a lot of fun trying to figure it out every time I play, because I always try a different angle to see how that'll work. So there you go. That's a really short version of what I like about Scythe. There's a lot more aspects I like, but those are the ones that stand out the most, and I think you could have fun trying to play this yourself. So if you've never tried Scythe, I strongly encourage it. This is a really cool game, and it's what got me into Kickstarter games and helped me understand kind of what different diverse games are out there. So thanks for watching. Take care.